everyone, it's John from What Up, and welcome back to another video. And today we're talking Wheel of Time cast. Yes, thanks to our friends over at WoTSeries.com, we have a couple more cast members to talk about before we round out the year. Now, with how quiet Sony and Amazon have been lately, I was kind of thinking that maybe perhaps they forgot about the Wheel of Time, but Rafe Judkins did do an interview recently with Dragon Mount when he said the second season is coming sometime next year, but not early next year. Now, my sources have been telling me for a little over a year now that we're looking at late first quarter, early second quarter. Kind of sounds like that might have been pushed back. Here's to hoping we get season 2 before summer hits. That's my hope anyway. So if you're new to the channel, you don't know what we do here, we talk Wheel of Time. So anything and everything Wheel of Time, whether it's official, unofficial, rumors, leaks, set videos, pictures, outlandish stuff, we talk about it all here. There's nothing too hot to touch the channel. So if you like that sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell, because we do talk Wheel of Time at least a couple times per week. Now, of course, since we are talking about the second season of the Wheel of Time, I do have to give a slight spoiler warning because we are going to talk about elements of the show and the books in today's video. So, spoiler warning, in today's video, we're talking Season 2 of Sony and Amazon's Wheel of Time show. So if you haven't seen Season 1, that's episodes 1 through 8 on Prime Video, and if you haven't read the first 3 books of the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan, that's The Eye of the World, The Great Hunt, and The Dragon Reborn, I'll probably be ruining small bits, small character arcs, and plot points from all 3 books in the first season. Not a whole lot though, so if you haven't read or seen the show, I won't ruin too much for you, but I still have to talk about it. Alright, that being said, let's get on to the video. Alright, so we're talking castings for Season 2, and thank you so much to our friends over at WoTSeries.com for this. I have left a link to the article down below in the description box if you folks want to peruse it when you're done this video. Now, according to the article, the first casting we have is Vincent Kirschbaum. He's been acting since 2011, and he's been acting mostly in British film and television, although you may know him from Amazon Prime's feed. Now, Kirschbaum filmed a scene in Prague in February 2022, according to the WoTSeries.com article, and according to his CV, he will be appearing in Season 2 with the director of Santa Hamri as a Sun Palace servant. Now, this gets a little confusing here, at least for me anyway, because we know we're seeing Kyrian in the second season, and we know for a fact that Rand will probably be there, that Moraine will probably be there. Donald Finn has also mentioned seeing Kyrian at CCXP 2022, so there's a chance his character will also be there, but we're not sure how it fits into the storyline, because let's face it, we know Tom's not going to be in the second season, and he factored in pretty heavily in the Kyrian plotline in The Great Hunt. So they could shuffle some things around. Maybe Rand goes there. That's where he meets Moraine instead of Varys Sedai. I have no idea what they're going to do here. But a Sun Palace servant means that we will probably see the palace itself, which is something we didn't see in The Great Hunt. We only saw Barthane's Manor, we saw the Foregate, we saw the Inn, a couple of other places in Kyrian, but we didn't actually see the Sun Palace. That isn't to say they won't introduce it and show it on screen, especially since 8 seasons is pretty compressed for a 14-book series, and they're going to have to go through some of the plot lines and cut some of them out. But my guess is we may be seeing this as a cold open to one of the episodes. It's quite possible. Remember Geldon from Season 1, where we all thought that we'd see a lot of Loghain's backstory. I myself was very, very excited because I wanted them to flesh Loghain out as a character and spend some time with him. It didn't happen. It was like a minute and a half or less of Geldon, and that's all we got of it. So this may be something similar. Maybe we'll see it in a cold open of one of the episodes, maybe even one of the later episodes, as sort of an aside to just start describing the political aspirations of certain people within the series. It's my guess anyway, but let me know in the comments down below what you folks think. Either way, Vincent will be playing a Sun Palace servant, so we know we're seeing the Sun Palace for sure in Season 2. Just how does it fit in? Let me know your thoughts on that. Alright, so the second casting we're talking about today is Lily Banda. She's a Malawian actor, singer, songwriter, and dancer. She's been acting since 2019, and she's probably best known for the second season of Deep State. She was in a bunch of those episodes. It's a really good show. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's absolutely fantastic. Now, this was first reported by Narg a few weeks ago on Instagram. However, WoTSeries.com took what Narg put out and basically expanded a whole lot upon it. So her CV does include a credit for the Wheel of Time. It does not include the director or the episode name or number, but it does include her character's name. Now, her character's name is Milani, M-I-L-A-N-I. Now, according to the WoTSeries.com article, there is no character in the books by that name, and I double-checked just because of me, and of course, there is no character by that name in the books. But we do have a few different clues. The first one comes from WoTSeries.com. They say that she was in Morocco in and around the time of filming. So that puts us in, we think, episode 7 and 8 territory. Now, they filmed a whole bunch of stuff in Morocco, so it's really hard to pin down exactly what she filmed, because they had some jungle scenes, they had some desert scenes, they had some stuff in a studio, they had some stuff in some of the villages and towns. We know they filmed the Battle of Falma for sure. We know the heroes of the Horn were there. We know the Shanshan were there. We know White Cloaks were there. We also know all of the main cast pretty much were there during the filming of this. Doesn't really help a whole lot, though, because you can't really narrow it down. But if you take a look at Lily's socials, she follows Kay Alexander, Ayula Smart, Karima McAdams, and they all follow her as well. So if you don't know, Kay Alexander plays Min in the first season of the show and the second season. Ayula Smart is playing Avienda, and Karima McAdams is in the show, but we're not sure of her role, although the fandom is pretty much settled on the fact that she's playing High Lady Suroth. And I think that too. That's pretty likely, considering the fact that she is the Shanshan with the big mask that you see in the teasers. So we're pretty sure that's Suroth. So how does that fit in? Well, if they follow each other, either they were filming in and around each other, and that's how they met, and they were friends, or they could have been friends beforehand. We don't really know. But let's go with the fact that maybe, just maybe, Lily met these people on set, and that's how they became friends. So she either would have had to film scenes with them, or in and around the same time they did. And that's kind of interesting, because that really narrows down the type of characters that she could play. Now, I looked through the Companion, I looked through the Great Hunt, and I looked through the Dragon Reborn. I didn't want to go into any further books than that, but I tried to find a character that would fit kind of in that timeline, that would maybe see all of these people on screen or in and around the same time. Now, we know for a fact that they're compressing timelines, they're cutting things, and they're jamming stuff together. So do I think that we're going to see a full Great Hunt storyline and a full Dragon Reborn storyline? No, I think they're going to really mash them together, cut big chunks of them out, and we're going to see a very abbreviated version of both in the same vein. So it's quite possible that we have some of the elements of the Dragon Reborn happening during the time frame leading up to Falma, or just after Falma. So my thought is, there is an Aiel by the name of Maria. Now, she is a Maiden of the Spear. She was the one that was guarding Rand's tent when they were outside Tayan. Now, that was when the Trollocs attacked them when they were in the Waste, and she ran off to do battle with the Trollocs because she was excited to go do that, and that left Rand wide open to the Drahakar. Worked out fine for Rand in the end. However, you do see her later on in the book with a doll under her arm to remind her to not be a child. So I'm wondering if maybe Lily's playing one of the Maidens of the Spear. May not be that particular one, but I do like that idea that they'll show something of that nature. Maybe they're on their way to Falma. Maybe they're going into the Waste after Falma happens, and one of these attacks happens with the Trollocs and Drahakar, because I think there's going to be at least one, maybe two major battles in the second season with Shadowspawn, and we have no indications so far of when they could be, other than the scenes with Moraine and Lan when they were in Italy, where we've seen the Fade, or what we thought was a Fade, on screen with them, and Daniel Henney has mentioned that he fought two Fades at once. So other than that, I don't think we've seen any big battles, because you gotta understand, we've had two big battles with Shadowspawn in the first season. One of them in the first episode that was really very nicely done, and then episode 8 kind of let everyone down because they couldn't use actors and actresses, they couldn't use stunt people, they had to use CG. It was hurried, it was rushed, it was the best they could do under the situation. I think they're going to try to redeem themselves with a big Shadowspawn battle near the end of the second season. I'm kind of hoping that it's this one when they go to the Waste, and that's how they end it. Maybe they'll end on a cliffhanger with her running off, and Rand left unprotected with the Drahakar kind of scooping him up. I would love to see that as a final scene for the second season, because that's a huge cliffhanger. You don't know if Rand's going to live or not, unless, of course, you read the books. Either way, let me know in the comments down below, am I absolutely bonkers, or does that make a little bit of sense? Or do you have another theory on who she could be possibly playing in the second season? Like I said, I don't really know, but I like the idea that she's an Aiel, especially since she's friends with Avienda and Min, and High Lady Suroth puts her in and around Falma, at the very least, I think. Either way, thank you very much for sticking with us here to the very end. Here's to many more.